Well, that's right, Joe. You've got a video up on your website, and it is amazing. We chuckle about it, but that shows the seriousness of the situation. You had my colleague on the Georgia gang, Jeff Dickerson, who's worked with the DeKalb school system, point out, I think, Joe, it was over 150 languages that are spoken now in DeKalb County, thanks to this influx, illegals, refugees, and of course that's so expensive. The school system all over can't keep up with this. It's really illegal immigration is an unfunded mandate on cities and counties all across the nation.
And the Justice Department, DeKalb County is under an order from the Justice Department mandating that they communicate with these people before they are enrolled in school in their own native language. So DeKalb has to, or they're required to speak their own language. And the same thing happened in Gwinnett. And, of course, that's also the problem now with the children coming at the border. They're speaking a dialect that nobody can speak because they can't even communicate with the kids coming in now, coming across the border. And these people are being shepherded and managed by the Refugee Resettlement Program and funded by it.
Yeah, how is that sustainable as a country and a culture to teach in every language that someone decides to show, that decides to come here?
Well, thank you for making that point, and I don't know what our time constraint is here, guys, but I would like to go into the language aspect of this, if I may, for a couple minutes.
We've got time.
Oh, great. As some of you may know or may not know, I'm a proud board member of a group called ProEnglish, and I would urge you to get on the website, proenglish.org, and like it on Facebook. They can give you updates. We've got a lot of members here in Georgia. And the mission is to have English as the official language of the United States. You know what's shocking, and a lot of people don't realize this? We do not have an official language of government. And so 31 states, including Georgia, does have, thanks to their state legislatures, official English and government laws. Now, the liberals like to call it English only. That's not true. It's just we call it English as the official language of government. And,
there's never a shortage of...
To your point, we cannot have the 350 languages. What if you went to the bank and you had 350 buttons to push for the language you like, or in schools, like you point out? It's insanity. And so English is the tie that binds us all as Americans. It doesn't make any difference where you came from, your ethnicity. You're an American. You learn English, you learn our civics, our history, you become a permanent resident, you take the citizenship test. Multiculturalism, this virus that's been injected into our system, is destroying what we call the quote-unquote United States of America.
It's the American culture that's being killed. Teddy Roosevelt had and I can't remember the saying, but he had a great saying against multiculturalism in the late 1800s.
I remember that quote. Well, almost everybody, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, up to about 20, 25 years ago, believed in the assimilation model. They believed in what I just described, that, we had people come in and we became Americans with English. The multicultural lobby is, to use your word, is effectively destroying our culture.
Well,
and
so
they're breaking our middle class, and, of course, massive illegal immigration is doing it.
Well, as a vehicle, they're using the political correctness. I mean, this political correctness has nothing to do with what is and the reality of any situation. It's all about these heartstrings that they're trying to pull with words, and it's got to stop, because we have to understand what is real and what is not. And
you're making a good point. I'll give you just a quick example of the everyday impact of this multiculturalism, which translates into multilingualism. I mean, right here in Georgia, if you want to become a permanent resident of this state, now remember what I just said, a permanent resident, if you want to live here for the rest of your life, you obviously have to take the written driver's license test. Well, get a load of this. The politically correct multiculturalists, even here in Georgia, they give the test in 13 languages. That's insane, especially when you just consider the public safety aspect of that.
Gwinnett?
Our road signs are in English. I mean, if some knucklehead's going down the road and doesn't understand the sign "bridge out," there you go.
Well, they were going through this about 6-8 years ago. They were going through this whole signage issue because an awful lot of people were wanting to put Spanish on the actual signs, like around schools where you're dropping off your kids and so forth. And I said, it'd be a lot more poignant to go ahead and put a pictograph with English on it. That way, perhaps they would learn something. The message would still get out, even if they didn't understand English yet, but it would help them associate the English language and eventually, hopefully, start learning it.
Well, the signage is a very important issue, but basically what we have to do is we have to support in Congress. I'm going to give a shameless plug here, guys. We have to support H.R. 997. That is a bill by U.S. Representative Steve King of Iowa. It's a bipartisan bill, by the way. It's got over 100 sponsors. He introduces it every year. It's to make English the official language of government, where you don't have this expense. You don't have the expense of translations and, of course, think of all the paperwork. So all of Georgia's Republican congressmen have signed on. Even Democrat Congressman John Barrow of Georgia has signed on.
Wow!
And so I would urge listeners to ask your senators and congressmen to. And by the way, Senators Chambliss and Isaacson are in favor of the Senate companion bill, but we've got to pass H.R. 997.
If we don't pass that, there'll never be any serious effort to make these people assimilate into our community.
Where is the bill in Congress? Is it in committee, or is it ever going to make it?
It's in committee, and all we need is for the Republican leadership to bring it to the floor. We've still got a little time left this year, but this has been going on. We've built up so much support. This is the most ever we've had so many co-sponsors, and if we don't get it this year, you can be sure that Congressman King and a lot of our Georgia congressmen will be bringing it back in January.
Well, let's hope it gets through before then. But if not, the fight will continue. You talk about the language as an issue, and one of the thoughts that just crossed my mind is this multiculturalism, this 30 or more languages that the government has to work in constantly. Isn't that one of our greatest threats to our national security and our economy?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. It's. Think of the. I mentioned the safety issue with driver's license tests
right.
A few minutes ago. Just think of the whole aspect in healthcare. Think of if you don't have English as the tie that binds in the emergency room, in the operating room,
right.
with the doctor-patient relationship. Now, there's nothing wrong with people who are poor English speakers. You can have family members or friends come in and help with translations, and that's been what we've done for the last 200 years in this country.
My point.
Now, though, with the English being broken down in some areas, you're having mistakes made, doctors and healthcare people making mistakes because of the language barrier. We've never experienced it to this extent.
One of the things, a point in there was 120 years ago, people came to this country and they knew that they would have to, but there were still areas in which they lived, in New York, in the South, wherever, where it was predominantly Italian, predominantly Polish, and it was absolutely reasonable for them to speak the language of their culture in those areas if it was an area that was Mexican. But when you went into all the other areas, it was the common language. It was English.
Well, that's exactly right. And polls consistently show that the large majority of the American people, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Black, White, Liberal, Conservative, Anglo, Hispanic, they want English as the official language of the United States, period. So that's very heartening. That is a big majority issue. You mentioned a few minutes ago how out of touch the feds are with the average American. It's a great example here of how out of touch they are with regard to our language.